So, my seat is, hum. There is only one table, and I'm all alone. Today is my brother's wedding. When I arrived at the venue, I found myself sitting alone at a round, large table. The staff who brought the food seemed hesitant and distant. The other guests kept glancing at me and whispering to each other. I know who's behind this. It's Olivia, the bride. Olivia said to me,
Being with someone like you, who dropped out of school and went off the beaten path, gives me goosebumps.
she had been harassing me behind my brother's back. Well, if that's how she wants it, I'll give her a taste of her own medicine. She's my brother's fiancée, but I won't hold back anymore. With just a few words, Olivia will lose everything. My name is Emily. When I was in elementary school, our parents passed away in an unfortunate accident, and my brother Liam and I had to survive on our own. Liam, who was a college student at the time, became my guardian and worked hard to support me while pursuing his studies. We received support from relatives, neighbors, and government assistance, but we still lived in poverty. Liam has always been smart and excelled in academics. He even entered the current university as a scholarship student. In contrast, I was terrible at studying. However, it seemed that I had a certain talent. Hey, big brother, bring out that t-shirt, please.
That t-shirt. Are you going to use it for something?
Ignoring my brother as he handed me the t-shirt, I diligently cut it with scissors, making the sewing machine I received as a gift rattle. See, now we have a dishcloth without having to buy one. Clever, right? I confidently answered while waving the transformed t-shirt turned dishcloth. Liam chuckled and wiped the table with the dishcloth. He worked part-time at that time, but the pay wasn't significant, and I was still in middle school, so finding work was difficult. As a result, we had to carefully manage our limited funds and think of creative ways to make ends meet. From the scarce resources, I felt that I gained many valuable things that a wealthy life could never provide. Thanks to Liam and the support of our neighbors and classmates, I was able to safely enter high school, despite our modest living conditions. Though my way of life hadn't changed, I wanted to start saving for the future, so I immediately started working part-time at a local restaurant. Welcome. At 5:30 in the evening, the restaurant where I worked was filled with a delicious aroma, attracting hungry students after school and well-built guys finishing work.
Emily, here you go.
Wow, thank you as always. This helps me a lot. At this restaurant, I could enjoy the staff meal prepared by the cooks. It was incredibly delicious and always served in large portions, so I would always bring the leftovers home. This greatly helped our household budget and motivated me to work even harder. But there was one thing that bothered me. It was the daily disposal of leftover ingredients. Of course, we made sure to use as much as we could for the staff meal, but there were always some leftovers. It was understandable from a hygiene perspective, but for someone like me, who lived a lifestyle of minimizing waste, it was a frustrating issue. Before I knew it, a year had passed since I started working at the restaurant. Our restaurant had become even more prosperous, with long queues forming every day.
Hey, I'll have the usual.
Sure, just the cabbage for the tomato soup, right?
Wow, it's amazing how quickly we became popular. Offering a choice of toppings was a brilliant idea.
Let's go back 6 months ago. During a monthly meeting that included the part-time staff, I finally gathered the courage to raise the issue of food waste that had been bothering me. The massive amount of toppings floating in the soup caught my eye every time I cleared the dishes. With the current high cost of living, the prices of vegetables and eggs kept rising. Nevertheless, it was a rule that the surplus vegetables remaining near closing time had to be disposed of. As someone who had always been taught not to waste any ingredients, disposing of them felt like a painful sacrifice.
I didn't realize Emily, you've been through a lot.
The cook seemed to have various thoughts after learning about my situation. He was strict when it came to work, but our master always cared about us part-timers and had become a father figure to me. For the sake of the cook and to ensure the restaurant's success without waste, I wanted to try something we could do. It seemed that other part-time staff shared the same sentiment, as they listened attentively to my proposal. Then, how about trying this idea? As I presented my idea, it seemed to surpass everyone's expectations. People have different appetites and preferences when it comes to the amount of food they can consume. That's why I came up with the idea of introducing a system where customers can choose the quantity of toppings. When taking orders, we also reward those who finish their entire meal, excluding the soup, with loyalty points, ensuring we gain repeat customers. At first, the cooks looked puzzled, but they agreed to implement my proposal for a trial period of 1 month. Surprisingly, this system was well received by customers, and we gradually started attracting female customers who hadn't visited the restaurant frequently before. I was thrilled. Moreover, this sparked a wave of suggestions from other staff members, one after another.
This staff and employees don't matter once customers step foot in this restaurant. We need to delight them with delicious soup,
Was a phrase I heard repeatedly from the cooks. I wanted to make the restaurant even more enjoyable for our customers. As we continued to work on improving the restaurant, our bond grew stronger. The positive atmosphere seemed to infect our customers, contributing to the prosperity of the business. Riding on this tailwind, I observed customers' reactions and behaviors closely while providing service, and I responded to their desires by making changes to the interior gradually and adjusting the menu based on different time slots. We enthusiastically tackled everything within our capabilities. Our custom-oriented service, going above and beyond, gained a reputation mainly through social media. Slowly, we started attracting customers from distant places, and on weekends, queues started forming. Seeing the tough-looking cooks happily slurping the soup, I felt my heart fill with joy as I worked together with my comrades to build up the restaurant. On the other hand, Liam successfully graduated from university and achieved his childhood dream of becoming a pilot. He was intrigued by piloting because he had cherished memories of taking a plane ride with our parents when they were still alive. Liam, who is tall and has a handsome face, naturally stood out when walking around the airport in his pilot uniform. The women couldn't help but stare at him, their eyes sparkling with awe. Liam's piloting skills were indeed impressive, and the mental strength he had developed through rigorous training and apprenticeships was not in vain. He handled any unexpected situations during flights calmly and had overcome numerous crisis moments, earning him the title of an ace. In fact, he had gained immense trust from veteran pilots and cabin crew. And now, Liam had decided to get married. His partner was a flight attendant from the same airline, and today they were scheduled to meet for the first time. Suppressing my excitement, I hurried to the restaurant after finishing work. I wonder what kind of person she is. Being a flight attendant, she must be beautiful. Suppressing my grin, I entered the restaurant and immediately spotted a familiar face. "Sorry I'm late."
No worries. I was just relaxing.
Liam smiled as a beautiful woman sitting next to him crossed her legs and grinned. She seemed to be Liam's fiancée.
This is my sister, Emily, and this is Olivia. She's a flight attendant at our company.
Liam introduced us, pointing to each of us in turn.
Nice to meet you. I'm Olivia. I've been taken care of by your brother, both at work and in private.
She said with a radiant smile, like the sun. Nice to meet you. I'm Liam's sister, Emily. He's been a great support to me. As I said that, I lightly bowed my head.
Thank you for your kindness.
Olivia replied, and she was indeed a stunning beauty, just as I had imagined. Her features were so chiseled that she could be mistaken for a French woman, and her double eyelids fluttered with every blink, accentuated by long, flittering eyelashes. The restaurant had a stylish atmosphere I had never experienced before, and Olivia's outfit, a daringly low-cut dress, matched perfectly. Perhaps because of that, her stunning figure caught the attention of people around, and I noticed occasional glances from other customers. Liam had a face I had never seen before, full of affection and infatuation for Olivia. At first, I was nervous, but with the help of alcohol, I was able to relax and engage in lively conversations about how they met and amusing work anecdotes. While Liam had a calm personality, Olivia was a lively and straightforward person. Even in terms of complimenting each other's shortcomings in their marriage, being with someone with such contrasting personalities might be the best. Olivia actively engaged me in the conversation.
Liam told me that you're good at cooking, Emily.
As I enjoyed the meal served to us, I replied to the conversation. Well, I wouldn't say I'm particularly good, but maybe because I worked as a waitress at a restaurant.
A restaurant? How wonderful! Take me there sometime.
Olivia said with excitement.
I'm genuinely happy. It feels like I've gained a little sister. You see, I grew up as an only child. So, I'm really thrilled right now.
Caught up in her excitement, Olivia leaned forward in her seat, and I inadvertently averted my gaze.
Oh, you're blushing. That's adorable.
Then Olivia suddenly had a serious expression on her face and said, "Both Liam and Emily have worked so hard until now. But from now on, let's enjoy ourselves as a family of three." She said that and gracefully sipped the remaining wine in her glass. I am glad my brother has her as his partner. Relieved by Olivia's friendly personality, I felt a sense of relief in my heart.
It was so much fun. Thank you, Emily.
No, thank you so much for today. On the way back from the bar, with alcohol in her system, Olivia's excitement reached its peak. Suddenly, she grabbed my arm.
Hey, Liam. It's a shame to just go back home like this. Let's go for another girls' night out with Emily.
I was taken aback by Olivia's unexpected words, but I couldn't help but feel happy. Liam chuckled and said, "Well, okay, but make sure you don't drink too much." He then turned to me with a worried expression and asked, "Are you okay, Emily?" "Yeah, I'm fine. Let's have a girls' night out, Olivia."
No.
Olivia pumped her fist, and her excitement grew even more.
All right, it's settled. See you later, Liam.
Huh? Are you going to part ways here?
Yeah, it's a girls' night out. You stay home and be lonely.
Got it. Thanks for today, Emily.
Yeah, thank you for introducing me. With that, Olivia hugged Liam from behind and patted his back with both hands, urging him to leave. Liam reluctantly walked toward the direction of the train station. I watched his back for a while, but eventually, he disappeared from sight. As soon as that happened, Olivia pushed me with all her might, and I fell flat on my back. Startled, I hurriedly got up and followed her. "Olivia, where are you going?" At that moment, her smile vanished, and she frowned deeply.
Don't get ahead of yourself.
She had clearly changed from the smiling Olivia just moments ago. Earlier you mentioned having a girls' night out.
But that's obviously a lie, isn't it?
Olivia placed her hand on her hip and gave me a piercing glare.
I only said that because Liam was present. So?
After staring at my face intently, she said something outrageous.
Don't get the wrong idea. Being with someone like you, who dropped out and deviated from the typical path, gives me goosebumps.
She shivered and crossed her arms, looking cold.
Just so you know, my family consists of Liam alone. and you are just a stranger. From now on, you should live alone without relying on Liam,"
she said, laughing loudly, and walked away into the crowd, the sound of her heels echoing. Did she mean being a dropout is bad? I watched Olivia's retreating figure in astonishment. Indeed, as she mentioned, I hadn't graduated from high school. At that time, I was too engrossed in reviving the restaurant and ended up skipping school more often. As a result, my attendance was insufficient, causing considerable trouble and worry for Liam at the time.
I got too caught up in the restaurant work, didn't I?
I could never forget Liam's troubled expression, mixed with a smile, when he said that. Afterwards, I managed to obtain a high school equivalency certificate with the money I saved from part-time jobs, so technically, I wasn't a dropout anymore. However, it seemed that Olivia didn't want to consider someone who had once strayed from the path of life as her equal. I was deeply shocked by this sudden revelation of Olivia's true nature, which took a sharp turn from the enjoyable time we had. A few days later, when Liam returned home after finishing his shift on an international flight, I mustered the courage to speak up. "Hey, big brother."
What is it?
"Well, it's about Olivia." Liam's expression turned perplexed when I mentioned Olivia's name, but he also seemed somewhat pleased. Liam was infatuated with Olivia, and the moment he showed his happy face, I hesitated to discuss my concerns. "Oh, Olivia is beautiful, kind, and funny, right?" Liam's eyes drooped.
Oh, do you think so too? Yeah, Olivia is incredibly kind even to a plain guy like me. That's what's so great about her, hehe.
Without realizing my true feelings, I watched Liam's infatuated behavior, and the incident from before made it even harder for me to speak up. "Well, as long as my big brother is happy." Despite Liam finding various reasons to invite me to meals after that, I had no interest whatsoever. But if I declined, it would spoil the celebratory mood. However, Olivia subjected me to subtle harassment when Liam wasn't looking, such as stepping on my foot under the table or intentionally dropping the fork I was using. There was a time when I mustered the courage to ask her to stop those actions.
"I really hate it, but since Liam seems to like you, I am reluctantly having meals with you. So you should just endure it."
She glanced at me with disdain, as if looking at something dirty. Olivia's condescending tone when Liam returned was the most repulsive thing I had experienced so far. With all of that, I spent the days leading up to the wedding feeling miserable. And so, the day of the wedding arrived. I was heading to the venue in uncomfortable high-heeled shoes. Oh no, the ceremony is starting. I didn't know how Olivia managed to convince me, but despite being a relative of the groom, she had only told me the location and start time of the venue. Liam had simply said that I would figure out the details on the day itself. Perhaps because of that, I was even more anxious. In fact, work unexpectedly piled up on the day before the wedding, and I struggled to handle everything. I finally finished just before dawn today. In a rush, I returned home and hurriedly prepared myself, changing clothes, doing my hair, and then jumping on the train. I managed to make it just in time, but I was completely exhausted. Without a moment to catch my breath, I was guided to the family waiting room. I exchanged greetings with relatives I hadn't seen in a while, all the while feeling uneasy, and quickly checked the seating chart handed to me by the staff. My seat is, There was only one person at the table, me? I couldn't help but be shocked. What does this mean? I was perplexed, but the ceremony was about to start soon. Unable to confirm with Liam, I hurriedly made my way to the chapel.
"Congratulations."
Wow, you look beautiful. You two make a perfect couple.
The touching ceremony in the chapel had ended, and the reception began. In the glamorous atmosphere, I clapped for them with mixed feelings. Liam, dressed in a black tuxedo, and Olivia, adorned in a colorful dress, looked like they had stepped out of a magazine. Then, a relative sitting at the neighboring table approached me and whispered in my ear,
Emily, why are you the only one alone?
"Well, I came here and it turned out like this, so I don't really." I could only respond with a wry smile. The candle service started, and Liam and Olivia approached my seat. Olivia had a sour expression, trying to avoid the table where I was sitting, but Liam quickened his pace when he saw me sitting alone.
Hey, why is Emily sitting alone at the table?
Liam seemed surprised as if he were seeing the situation for the first time. I was also bewildered by his reaction. Huh, didn't you and Olivia decide on the seating arrangements?
No. There's no way we would put our important family member in such a corner seat, especially all alone.
Liam said that and looked at Olivia beside him.
Olivia, you were the one who decided on the seating, right? What's going on?
Then Olivia casually said with a composed face,
Well, Emily seemed a bit shy around new people, so I thought I'd let her have a seat alone to avoid getting exhausted.
She showed me a mean-spirited expression that only I could see. Seeing that, I wanted to retort, but I couldn't bear to ruin their special day. "Thank you for your consideration." I only said that much. I couldn't disrupt the atmosphere. I sent a reassuring glance to Liam, indicating that I was okay. Liam didn't show any signs of acceptance, but he reluctantly moved to the adjacent seat, prompted by Olivia. I was nervous about what would happen next, but the reception proceeded smoothly with performances and costume changes. During the final bouquet presentation, I also stood before everyone. At that time, I received a heartfelt letter from Liam, and unexpectedly, tears welled up in my eyes. It became a fond memory. After the reception ended without any issues, as I was about to return to the waiting room, someone hurriedly approached me.
Emily?
When I turned towards the voice, it was someone I had been acquainted with through work. "Hello. It's quite a coincidence to meet here. Oh, does that mean you're also in the aviation industry?"
Yes, actually, I'm the boss of the groom and bride. It's incredible that Liam's sister is you.
And so, we engaged in conversation about work and small talk. After a while, Liam and Olivia, who had just finished the ceremony, approached us.
Manager, thank you so much for coming to the wedding. Oh, both of you. Congratulations again. It's a share of happiness.
As Liam and Olivia's boss, it seemed that he genuinely felt happy to be able to attend today.
Thank you very much. So, do you have something to discuss with my sister-in-law?
While the manager and I were enjoying the conversation, Olivia seemed visibly displeased.
Do you two know each other by any chance?
Then the manager opened his mouth.
Oh, right. Olivia, didn't I tell you? Emily is an amazing person, to the extent that I can call her the savior of our company. If it weren't for her, I don't know what would have happened to us.
Saying that, the manager bowed his head to me.
Emily, I truly thank you for what you did back then.
Really? I had no idea. Emily, you're amazing. By the way, I vaguely remember hearing that you were doing some consulting work or something. Is that right? Liam asked me, and I nodded with a smile. Olivia was clearly unsettled by our conversation. Due to confidentiality obligations, I had never mentioned it to Liam, but the airline company he worked for had once faced a management crisis. To overcome this crisis, the company had sought consulting services from the company I worked for. As the team leader for the turnaround, I implemented one reform after another. Although we were still in the process of turning things around, the combined efforts of our team and the company had borne fruit. and we somehow managed to avert the crisis. By the way, the company I worked for was a fairly well-known major consulting firm, and I had occasionally seen the company's president on TV. Thanks to my significant contributions to the revitalization of the restaurant where I worked as a part-time job at the time, the small individual shop had steadily grown. After that, together with my colleagues, we continuously brainstormed various ideas and strategies, implementing them one by one, and eventually, I rose to a prominent position in a major restaurant chain. At that time, the chef I admired became the president and demonstrated his skills in various ways. Currently, he actively nurtures successors as the chairman, and I, recognized for my achievements in the restaurant, was recruited through what they call headhunting and joined the current consulting company. Even after joining, I continued to demonstrate my abilities in various assignments, and now I am the youngest department manager in the consulting division, working tirelessly to meet the demands of clients from all over the country.
Emily's achievement in turning the local restaurant into a nationwide chain is truly amazing,
the manager said, wiping his sweat and showing a humble expression. Oh, no, it's all thanks to the chef and the staff, I replied. Seeing that, Olivia lashed out at me.
Humph. Consulting is just talking, isn't it? Anyone can do that. It's an easy job that even an amateur without any special skills or abilities can do.
Well, I suppose so. As an amateur like me, I have something to tell you, Olivia, I said. I had decided to bring up something I had been thinking about lately, even though I wasn't sure if it was the right time. Manager, I've been hesitant to talk about this here, but since it's a good opportunity, may I proceed? It's about the matter of downsizing, as we discussed before.
Go, yes, please.
The manager swallowed hard. I would like to propose that Olivia be one of the employees subject to downsizing, I said. In response, Olivia became furious and confronted me.
Hey, what's this downsizing thing? Does it mean I'll be fired? I never agreed to this.
But I continued without being deterred. From the first meeting until now, I have endured countless actions and harassment from you, which I couldn't even tell my brother about. I couldn't stand it, but I've been enduring it because I didn't want to interfere with my brother's happiness. And saying that, I handed over a thick document. I heard from the HR department that there has been a high turnover rate among the junior cast recently, and I found it strange. So, I secretly conducted various investigations about Olivia. As the manager flipped through the pages, following the text, his expression turned pale. Liam also instinctively took the document and checked its contents. It detailed specific instances of Olivia harassing the junior cast with less seniority. But Olivia, even in this situation, seemed determined to escape.
Hey, stop it. Do you have any evidence that I harassed anyone?
I took out my smartphone and tapped on it. Suddenly, a woman's voice could be heard.
Someone like you, a high school dropout who has lost their way in society, being Liam's sister. Liam?
Are you referring to me?
Of course, who else could it be?
Liam was dumbfounded, and Olivia trembled, on the verge of losing control. There's more, I said, tapping on my smartphone again. Ouch! What are you doing, Olivia?
Oh, sorry. I thought it was a rag instead of shoes. Ha ha ha. Hey, cut it out.
Saying that, Olivia grabbed a small potted plant nearby and attempted to throw it at me.
Hey, stop it.
Liam desperately tried to stop her.
But she's trying to interfere and sabotage me out of jealousy.
Olivia.
The manager's heavy voice resounded.
You've done some terrible things to Emily. She's the one who saved our company from crisis. Don't you realize that our company exists today because of her? And on top of that, you've done all these things within the company. You're an unbearable person even among the catch.
Liam, shocked by Olivia's unexpected true nature, slumped down. Olivia, I never thought you could be this kind of person. You were so concerned about that girl who quit the other day, weren't you? Was that all a lie?
No, Liam, there's a reason for this.
But Liam interrupted her. Most importantly, you've hurt my precious sister. She's my only sister. I can never forgive you. Then, Liam stood up and took off his shiny engagement ring. I'm sorry, but let's consider the engagement null and void. Of course, I will explain the reason to your parents, and depending on the situation, I may request appropriate actions. Emily, let's go ahead. But yeah.
Wait, please. Listen to me, Liam.
Following Liam, Olivia also left the scene. I was in a state of shock for a while, but the manager patted my shoulder and said,
Emily, you saved your brother.
Afterwards, Liam expressed his apologies to Olivia's parents, acknowledging that although Olivia was primarily at fault, he also blamed himself for not being able to see through her actions. Olivia's parents were completely worn out, and especially her mother repeatedly apologized with her head bowed. Rumors spread within the company, and Olivia, who had a strong pride, discreetly resigned. The aviation industry is a small world, and the fact that she was jilted on her wedding day and the daily harassment she had inflicted became juicy gossip. Olivia's incident became a hot topic even in other airlines. As a result, Olivia couldn't find employment in any airline and is currently making ends meet by working part-time jobs. As for Liam, he seemed down immediately after the engagement was called off. However, his friends took him out every night for a gathering called the Encouragement Club, and he seemed to have recovered and gained a new perspective. And now, he's probably flying over some foreign airspace, as he started his 3-day international flight duty today. Then, Liam sincerely apologized to me from the bottom of his heart for putting me through such a difficult time. He also made a promise with a smile, saying, When I have a new girlfriend, I'll introduce her to Emily first. It was because Liam, as my brother, supported and watched over me with all his might, especially since we lost our parents at a young age, that I was able to endure and persevere until now. Family is about supporting each other and living together. Both Liam and I hope to meet someone with whom we can share that kind of bond in the future.